that what they do is awesome. But what we do is just very different.
Like I said, totally different dishes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Questions from the audience? Do you want me to double check, you guys?
Did he get picked up for a new season?
Yeah, they are shooting season 3 right now, and it's going to start airing, I think, in September, something like that. Actually,
October.
I'll give you guys a little inside thing. I mean, it's not that big a deal. You'll find out in a few months anyway.
Big secret, don't let it get on the box.
Nah, post it, I don't care. The way they're going to actually don't, if you don't mind. So I'll get in trouble. So basically, yeah, they're going to start with a Z Nation movie, and that's basically going to start the season. So it'll be like a 2-hour limited commercial thing. And I know this because they just finished filming the movie, and it sounds really awesome. So yeah, you can look forward to that, and then they'll just continue the season from there. So exclusive. There you go.
It sounds awesome.
Because I've been told some of what the storyline is. Yeah. Is everyone here for Z Nation? Basically?
Yes.
Okay. Is everyone caught up on the show?
Yes.
So y'all know what happens to me?
Yeah.
Not everyone?
Unfortunately.
Alright. I'm sorry. It's all good. Nothing. Everything's great.
Well,
Plug your ears.
relating to that, you got eaten.
What happened? There you go.
What happened?
Well, oh gosh, now I feel bad. Well, it's out now, so what are you gonna do? It's so weird, like it's hard to like talk about shows anymore because everyone like binges on their own time, so it's like you never know where people are, but I don't know, we're here to talk about Z Nation, so let's talk about it. So they were going to, the plan was to kill Mac early on, like when they started the series, Mac was only going to go through, midway through the first season, maybe a little more than that, and then luckily they just kind of decided to keep extending it through the second season, and then eventually there were talks about continuing the character from there, but it just, Carl Schaefer, the writer and the showrunner, the guy, it's his brainchild. He's basically got a 5-year plan and doesn't want to deviate too much from that. Now, obviously, we'll see in 5 years if he feels like he wants to keep it going. And he's obviously made adjustments as time goes on, but yeah, it was always a plan to off Mac, mostly so that sometimes on shows like this, you kind of have to do that. One, to keep kind of the spirit of no one is safe alive, which adds a level of intensity to it, which is kind of fun. I mean, that's part of what's fun about like something like Game of Thrones every week. You're like, who knows what's going to happen week to week. But also, it allows it propels other characters on the show to evolve and go in different directions. Because like Mac and Addie were kind of stuck, if you think about it. It was a great relationship, and they went on a great journey, but I'm not really sure where they were going to go from there, because it seemed difficult that he was going to be able to, totally forgive her, and it just seemed like they weren't going to be able to move on from kind of being stuck in the mud. So it seemed, from their perspective, from what I understand, it seemed to make the most sense to just say, let's give them this closure, let's let them have this moment, and then she can move on and we can kind of move on with the show, Because there's nothing worse. I mean, you don't want to see nobody wants to see Pouty Mac for a season and a half. She ditched me. That wouldn't have been fun for anybody. So they let me know before the second season started that this is kind of what's going to be happening, and that's what happened.
It seemed like it went a different direction. You kind of broke it up into the seasons, and then you get back together before you got eaten.
I know, it was a quick tease. It was like, and that was part of it too, was like, they were sort of teasing the long game of like, oh, these two are gonna mend their fences over time, and then, boom, it didn't happen, which I think, again, is just part of the fun of a show like this. I mean, for lack of a better word, it's like, you think it's going to go one direction, and then they hit you with something like that. Keeps people on their toes. I mean, listen, I loved being on that show. I would have been happy to go forever, but it's a zombie show, man. People gotta die.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
When somebody's eaten or dismembered,
Yeah.
which is an interesting question to ask on a daily basis, is there a cast send off? Do you guys do something for the cast member who is no longer going to be alive anymore, like behind the set of
Yeah. Sure. I mean, in my case, well, we had, how many deaths did we have up till me? Obviously, we killed the star of our show in episode 1. So not necessarily the biggest send-off for him, although he was awesome and we all loved him. But the first big one was, again, spoiler if you're not 6 episodes in, Garnett. So, and I mean, but the thing is, I mean, the show continues, and it's like it's such a crazy shooting schedule. You can't really stop. But what they tried to do is at least kill people off up till the end of the week, so like we would at least have a weekend to kind of hang out together. I'm trying to think if there was something in particular that we did for me. I think we all just went to the same bar we go to every Saturday night, and I got a couple more hugs than I usually get. But that was pretty much it, man. I mean, those crews work so hard, we just don't have time for much more than that, just blow off some steam at the bar over the weekend, and then get back to work.
Was it hard for you to say goodbye?
Yeah, I mean, I love those guys. They're, it's an awesome group. Anastasia, who plays Addie on the show, I mean, she's like one of my best friends still. And we basically lived together in Spokane when we did the show, because it just seemed easier. Like everyone kind of got their own apartment, and we just ended up like, we were like, well, we're in every scene together basically, and we constantly have these new scenes coming in with lines changing, so this way we can just like go over our lines and stuff like the night before. Like it just sort of seemed easier. So we got really close and we became super good friends. But yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is. That's how this business is. It's so funny because there really is nothing more like, I don't know how to explain it. There's nothing more intimate and personal and like relationship building than doing a film or a TV show with another group of people. It's really, there's something really special about it. So you can, I mean, someone can be like your best friend in the world for 2 weeks and then you never see them again. And that's just how it is. And because I've been doing this almost 20 years, I'm kind of used to that, these very like intense relationships for a very short period of time, and then it's like summer camp, see you later. But I do still like stay in touch. I mean, I just texted the crew the other day, because I was like, miss you guys, hope you're having a good season, and so yeah, we're all still in touch, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's on to the next one. Just gotta keep it moving. That's all there is to it. But yeah, I love those guys. Of course I listen.
Being a zombie show, was it easier for you to say goodbye and knowing that, okay, I'm gonna die later, it's okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think going into any TV show, you never know like, if it's going to last or not anyway, But yeah, that's always a possibility, particularly on a show like that, because you never know week to week like, what's going to happen. Although on our show, it's not like you just get a script and you're on page 45 and you go, and I'm dead. Okay, great. No, I mean, they like let you know ahead of time. They sort of let you know what the game plan is. Yeah, I think one particular cast member got maybe a month's worth of notice, but it hasn't ever been shorter than that. So we've all had plenty of time to like digest what was going to be coming. Yeah.
I'm on one of your Z Nation fan sites, and we've been discussing that really weird dream sequence episode. Can you go further into detail on that episode? I mean, about the purpose of doing all that, and
What the point of all that was?
yeah, that was kind of a weird episode.
Yeah. I mean, I could attack this from a lot of different angles because it was weird to make too. We were getting notes from the studio and then from the network throughout the entire course of that episode, so it was changing every day. And I went into it very serious. I was in serious actor mode, and I like, it was very like, and I laid out like, okay, here are the different dream sequences, and here is, you know, Mac's journey throughout, you know what I mean? And I literally, I had it mapped out like, you know, like a crazy algebra problem or something. I mean, I you know, and then they were just constantly changing it. So it just completely, like, I was like, okay, so this is dream sequence number 3 now, and now what's going on here? And I couldn't wrap my mind around it, so eventually I just said, screw it, and just went along with what, and I got so sort of confused and overwhelmed that I just went, you know what? That's what Mac's going through too, so let's just go with that and stop with all this other stuff. So it was a very difficult episode to film, but yeah, as far as like what the purpose was, let me think about this for a sec, because it's been a little while. But as far as I remember, the basic idea there was to reveal ultimately what happened with Addie that first night, and how traumatizing that was for her, and how that ultimately led to the decision that she made to leave Mac behind. And I had a better answer for this at the time because as I was working on it. I have to kind of watch it again. There was a lot of discussion about like what that zombie that kept killing me over and over again, like what that represented, and there was a lot of arguments as to like, because I thought once Mac went down into the basement that it couldn't be him that was down there, because that was because it was really Addie who was dreaming. That was her way of breaking through the barrier to find out the truth. So that was the version that I thought made the most sense. And we did a bunch of different versions where like I killed Addie's mom, and then she killed Addie's mom, and we just shot a bunch of different things. And I don't even remember, how did they end up editing it together? Like, I don't even remember. This is how confusing that episode is. So I see why you're having
Yeah, it
trouble
was
with
really confusing.
But yeah, no, to me, like that was the cleanest version was this zombie that keeps killing Mac, who's really Addie, is the thing that's blocking her from finding out what the truth is. And once Mac, really Addie, crosses that door, that infamous door, that was her way of being ready to find out what the truth is. But yeah, by me then going down there, and then it's still that same zombie, it jumbled up the message a little bit. So I think the episode turned a little bit more into into a party trick rather than a message. And not to bash the episode, but I think in terms of like the editing, because there was another thing that happened too, where like Addie figured it out earlier that she killed her mom, and then the big reveal that it was Addie who was dreaming the whole time and not Mac. Jeez, I've added nothing but confusion to this discussion. Did any of what I just said make any sense? I guess what I'm saying is it made more sense, I think, in the original script, and then with notes, and more notes, and more notes, and then editing decisions, it got more and more confusing as it went along. Because honestly, like, as it was originally written, it was much more clear as to like what this journey is and what it ultimately means. And then it's funny and actually watch it, you know, because when you finally get to watch the show after like doing it, it's hard to separate like what we shot versus what's on the screen because I have all this additional context that you guys don't have. So I
Right.
can see as a fan base like how that ended up being pretty confusing. And I'm sorry I don't have more answers for you.
That's okay.
Well, hello there.
Hey, Larry.
First and foremost, I remember that episode that you're talking about. I thought what you were describing it was the process of Annie trying to get over because she left him back behind.
Mm-hmm.
And then when first it was you going down the door, but I thought it was always Annie dreaming but we were seeing it like from your point of view, and then you die, then it goes back and it happens again. But then I believe by the end of the episode, it shows exactly what you described is that Addie was coming to grips with the fact that she had to kill her mom or something like that.
Yeah.
She turned as a zombie.
Yeah, it was her, I think that's a good way of putting it. It was her like PTSD that she was working through, just in a very strange, surreal kind of Groundhog's Day dream world where the episode took place, which I think probably is how a lot of that stuff surfaces that you know shove down into your subconscious. That kind of thing, something that traumatic is going to express itself in a very strange way. So I think that's probably the best way to think about it. It was just her way of working through that. Yeah.
And I do apologize.
No, please.
Two questions. First and foremost, I did love the character. I thought Matt was actually great to show I was sad to see him go.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But what are your 3 favorite zombie movies, and what are you doing now?
Good questions. My 3 favorite zombie movies. Gosh, well, I really, really liked 28 Days Later. I mean, that was the first kind of like introduction to fast zombies, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Am I? Yeah.
You're my first one time.
No kidding. I mean, it had been one way for how many decades, and all of a sudden, these punks come into play and want to change the game. But no, I thought I really enjoyed that one. I really liked the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. I was in a remake of Day of the Dead. As zombie fans, I don't know, but Ving Rhames was also in that one. and it was it was with Mina Suvari and Nick Cannon and Annalyn McCord and wasn't as well received because what happened with that one is that they went out to make an action movie that just happened to have zombies in it. So it really didn't, I think, respect the and then they ended up like test screening it to a bunch of Romero purists. They were like, "What is this?" So yeah, it just didn't fit in the genre. It wasn't a horror film, and it wasn't a traditional zombie horror film in the ways that we've come to expect. It was just a guy trying to make like a kind of a cool action movie, and let's throw some zombies in there too. So it didn't end up being particularly well received. I don't think it's a bad movie though. So yes, Dawn of the Dead and 28 Days, and then obviously Shaun of the Dead is great. But I gotta go with as my third. The original Night of the Living Dead. I mean, it's amazing. And by the way, I'm a big fan of like those 50s horror films in general, man, like Vincent Price and the original Haunting. They're just really, really good movies and laid the groundwork for all the stuff we like today. So I highly recommend them if you haven't seen those. But yeah, those would be my three.
Roberto's movie still holds up.
It does, 100%. Yeah.
So what are you working on now?
Oh yeah, thank you. So this year I was in an episode of Lucifer, which is a new show on Fox. And I was in an episode of The Catch, which is a new Shondaland show on ABC. And yeah, and then I'm going to be in a movie on Stars coming up in the next 2 months called A Killer Walks Amongst Us. I'm not sure when it's coming out. There's like weird drama happening with that right now where literally no one can get a hold of the producer. So like he's just on AWOL. So we don't know when that film's being released. But it's on Star's website. It's on like, you know, their like global website. The trailer's there. It's like, so I assume it's gonna be released. So look out for that. And then I'll be in an episode of a Comedy Central show called Another Period, which is the guys who do Drunk History. It's a super funny show. They're going into season 2, and I'm in an episode of that. So those are the immediate things I have coming out in the next few months. And then beyond that, just get back to LA and get back to the grind. Try and get some more work.
So I have like a superhero question. So basically, if you're Team DC or Marvel or something else entirely, and then also if you could be in one of the movies, which character you want to be cast as, or just even like a superpower that you always wanted to have.
Before you answer that,
Yeah.
I'm a big comic fan, so be careful how you answer that.
Well, I can tell you, I auditioned for, I guess, the first reboot of Spider-Man, with the Andrew Garfield edition. And it was, you know, it was funny. I went in like, and basically looked exactly like Tobey Maguire. I mean, with the hair, I had the glasses. I didn't try to, but it's just how it worked out. And then they sent me away and said, "Come back. We want this Spider-Man to be more like an Eminem version of Spider-Man." This is what they told me. So then I go, "Okay, an Eminem version of Spider-Man." It was very weird because I love Spider-Man, and I feel like I get Peter Parker. Like I feel like I have a gut connection to that character, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do with it, and they sort of wanted this more punk version. I didn't see the reboot. Is he like a punk in the beginning of it? Not at all, right? So that's just a bunch of crap that they told actors like me to come in and make fools of ourselves. And then they end up going with the guy from Social Network anyway. That happens all the time. Guys, all right, let me tell you something. We got time. So you got this new, they're doing a Han Solo thing for Star Wars, right? I think they're gonna make 3 of those. And like every actor in LA, under 30, they were like, put yourself on tape for Han Solo. So we all like drive ourselves crazy thinking, this might be it. And then like a week later, they come out with the list of, here are the guys we're considering. And it's all like super famous guys. And you're going, you never considered me at all. You're just, anyway. Yeah, it's a crazy business, dude. It's really wild. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, I was DC or Marvel. I mean, I guess I have to answer. I can't. Batman's DC, right? I'm gonna go DC. Sorry.
He's Batman, it's okay.
Yeah. I auditioned for Batman too. No, I'm kidding.
With Marvel Universe expanding as much as it is,
Yeah.
how long do you think before you're at least some part of that Marvel Universe? we got TV, we got Netflix, we got the movies.
Dude, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Those are the only movies that make money anymore. Really. I mean, that's why they keep making them. It's Marvel movies and Seth Rogen comedies, and that's it. Other than that, it's just indie films and shows on Netflix. Like that is where this industry is going. Yeah, dude, I'm game. I would love to be a part of that world for sure. Yeah, and I've been in. I've been in on a bunch of those shows, So I'm sure eventually something will line up. It'll happen. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said this earlier just about aviation, that they let you kind of
good question. Yeah, well, Twilight was, yeah, I mean, again, it's based on characters who already exist, so you do have to, you know, respect that. But at the same time, it's not like I feel like I definitely had a lot of freedom in Twilight as well, particularly in that first movie, to kind of create that character. But it was a little different in the sense that, like, it was, you know, this is my version of this guy who already exists, if that makes sense. Like, this is, okay, who is this? What does he represent? Why? You know, what part of his journey in this story helps tell the story better? Why is he here, right? And then you sort of go, okay, well, he's meant to kind of represent an element of the, you know, small town high school experience, you know, and that's part of that experience I was able to kind of connect with and tap into. The whole thing about, you know, being into a girl who's into someone else, I can totally relate, particularly in the high school world, you know what I mean? So you find your connection with whatever it is that this character is supposed to say in the context of this story that they're trying to tell. I hope that's not too, like, actor jargon, but that's sort of how you have to think about these things. So yeah, but for the most part, I was kind of just able to tap into some of my own high school experiences and what it was like for me going through some of those things, and then bring my version of it to it. But yeah, but Z Nation was really someone who was from scratch. And the only thing that they've written down about this guy is that he was a former athlete, and that's, you know,
Do you
and
have
he's
a
an older
question?
girl. And then from there, they kind of just let me run with it. So yeah, a little bit different, but essentially the same thing. You still create your character, whether it's someone who already exists or, you know, doesn't, and you're creating from the ground up. It's basically the same process.
As an actor, would you rather get that, this is who the character is, here's the source material, here's the kind of mannerisms the character has, or would you rather just get carte blanche and just say, like, all right, here's who he is, make him your thing?
Yeah.
Like, that's a big difference. So, like, one you prefer over the other?
Well, there definitely is something to having a structure in place already. Like, I don't know, are you guys Stargate fans at all? Are we Stargate fans now?
Yes.
So, I was in an episode of Stargate where I played a clone of a character who's on the show already. And the thing is, when I auditioned for that, it was just, basically what happened in the episode is, like, they cloned this dude so that these aliens can do experiments on him, but then they screwed up and I came out. So, like, they were trying to be, you know, incognito and, like, do these experiments in secret and then just have this clone there who was then going to die, and then they replace him. It's Stargate, it's very complicated. But anyway, but they screwed up and, like, the teenage version of him came out, but it was still him. It was still the same adult character. So when I auditioned for it, yeah, like, in the science was just like, okay, well, he's an older guy trapped in a young guy's body. And I was like, okay, great. So I did my version of that. And then, once I was cast, I actually watched the show and watched what Richard Dean Anderson really does with that character. Then you go, oh, wow, like, I would have never thought to do any of that stuff. This guy is out of his mind. So, in a case like that, like, yeah, that kind of structure can give you some real freedom to do stuff that you never would have come up with on your own. It's almost, it's like, you know, if you're given just a blank sheet of paper and you're like, okay, be an artist and create something. I mean, that can almost be too overwhelming. You know, you'd think, okay, well, the more freedom, the better. But sometimes the more structure, the better. You know, I think,
Become part of that world.
yeah, totally. And I mean, Sean Penn talks about this in general too, where he's saying, like, when you create characters, you kind of have to create a cage for yourself. And then within that cage, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, but you have to be very clear about the parameters that you sort of create for your character. So if those things are already kind of in place, then yeah, as an actor, it makes your job a little bit easier. And also, like I said, it can almost give you more freedom to explore things within that cage that you may have not found on your own, you know? And just as a general rule, I mean, I think sometimes restraints can be a good thing for artists. I think Mr. George Lucas would be a good example of that. He had a lot of restraints in those first 3 films. I mean, really, like he was confined to what he had available to him, and then suddenly when you gave him the power to do anything he wanted, again, I'm not here to knock George Lucas. I'm just saying.
I think we can appreciate him and agree with you at the same time.
Okay. Good.
Perfect.
What is your favorite episode of the Convention?
Favorite episode? Good question. Thank you. Man, let's think about this. Well, I think one episode in particular that I really liked was the one where we ended up in that compound. That's not what I'm talking about. And it seemed like it was going to be paradise. It was episode 6, I believe. Not with the ladies, no. Although that was no, the first one where the guy, like the religious guy, then sent someone in and he like infiltrated as a zombie, and then nobody had any weapons because they were trying to create this little utopia. So we had to try to kill zombies with like spoons and forks and stuff. Do you guys remember that? Yeah.
More of a structured complex than that later.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So that was a lot of fun to do. In particular, there was one sequence when Addie killed a zombie with an egg beater. That was pretty grody, and that was a lot of fun because that actor, like that guy who played that zombie, was super hardcore, and he went hard. And we just had a ton of fun doing it, man. And I would do a thing before super intense stuff in a show like that would get everyone going where I just do like a primal scream, like a ah, that kind of thing, and it gets everyone. I mean, a little more intense than that, and that would like get everyone pumped up and excited, and then we would just go hard, man. It's fun. It is fun. I mean, come on. What I do is a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna go with that episode because that kitchen sequence in particular, when like that guy came at us and then eventually we had to pin it down, and then Abby had to scramble his brains with the egg beater. It's pretty hardcore. And we almost threw up. I mean, we literally, if you've seen the episode, like it looks like we're about to throw up. We almost threw up because it was really gross.
Did it smell? I mean, what were they using? I've heard some stories sometimes where the gunk they use is almost worse than the actual stuff.
Oh man, yeah. No, I mean for the most part, a lot of that was done in post. But at that point, we were all sweaty and stinky in a small room together. So yeah, we ended up stinking a lot on each other.